Good morning, students. Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Naren will be always the first person to respond. Thank you, Naren.
Sir,
Okay.
happy birthday, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so today we'll be discussing about one of the most important, what to say, interface device is your 8279. 8279 programmable, call it as what? Programmable keyboard and display IO interface. So shortly we call it as what? 8279 interface. Okay. So I think this of all the different types of interface devices that you're going to study. So this is going to be what quite complex in architecture. Okay. So I request you to listen carefully about the architecture of this 8279 microcontroller. Okay. So now let's move on to the introduction slide of this 8279. Just a minute. Okay, fine. I think hope it's visible now. Okay, shall we move? Okay. So I repeat 8279 programmable keyboard and display IO interface. Okay. So if we take any microprocessor based system, so whatever it may be, whether it's an industrial application or domestic applications or whatever it may be, generally for any microprocessor based system, as we all know what, your keyboard is going to be the most commonly used what input device. It's a fact. And when you come to your output device, almost more previously, they used to use 7-segment display. It has been used mostly in olden days. Nowadays, we are using LCD display also. It's not an issue. But most common, if you see, means the input device that is used is keyboard, and the 7-segment display will be issued as what? Output device. So what does the programmer do? Normally, he presses the keys on the keyboard. So the input, whatever key that he presses, so it will be fed to your instruction. So it will feed instruction or data to your CPU by doing this. So the main thing that you have to note here is the board it should be what constantly scanned to detect what key is pressed, so that CPU will recognize that. Okay. So display, similarly the display section also here also it will be constantly supplied with data. So to hold it steady while the CPU operates as a scan key, and it will displace it. Okay. So, but if see actually why we need this 8279 is already we know that CPU will be heavily loaded. So, and the system operation it usually becomes slow as less time will be available for the data processing and or AL operations. So, if there is a specific IC which performs these operations, whatever I said previously, then the CPU can handle data processing AL operations very efficiently. So for that purpose, we have a separate interface device called 8278, which takes care of these input and output issues. Okay. So the 8278 is a general purpose programmable keyboard and display IO interface device, mainly designed for use in what microprocessors. Okay. So that is the main purpose of this 8278. So here we have a keyboard portion. So it provides a scanned interface to a 64 contact key matrix. I'll tell you what is a key matrix. We'll be having 8 rows, 8 columns, just in a particular switch. Okay. So the keyboard section, it's also interface to array of sensors, or sometimes we'll be having a sloped interface keyboard. So keyboard key depressions, we have 2 types. Either it can be 2-key lockout or N key rollover. So all this we'll see in detail. What is going to be 2-key lockout and N key rollover? Okay. And keyboard entries are debounced, and it usually stored in an 8-character first in first out queue. Okay. So when the more than 8 characters are entered, obviously what the overrun status will be set. Okay. So these are general function of your 8278. Similarly, we have display portion. So display portion provides a scanned display interface for LED, or you can also use LCD. Any popular display device also can be used apart from this. So both the numeric and alphanumeric segment displays may be used, as well as what simple indicators. Okay. So the 8279 here we have a 16x8 display RAM. So it has a what 16x8 display RAM. So this 16x8 display you can organize into what two 16x8 okay RAM, okay, dual 16x4. So the CPU can here you can use the CPU to load this RAM. And here also we have options like both right entry and left entry, like both right entry calculator and left entry typewriter display formats are possible. Okay, I hope you would have noted in calculator and typewriter. So in calculator you use right entry, and whereas in typewriter is left entry. Okay, so fine. So both read and write of the display RAM can be done with the auto increment of the display RAM address. So these are different functions or introduction to 8279. So apart from this, we have certain features. So the features of this 8279, if you see, means here we'll be having, as I said, name itself indicates. We have what simultaneous keyboard and display operations. So we have a scanned keyboard mode. We have a scanned sensor mode. We have a strobed input entry mode. We have a 8 character keyboard, first in first out. We have single 16-bit display. And we have 2 key lockout and N key rollover. So with debones function enabled. So all this, don't worry, we'll see in detail, because when we discuss about architecture, no, so I need to explain again once again. Just now I'm listing what are the features available. Okay, so we have right or left entry 16-bit display RAM, dual 8 or 16-bit numerical display. So all this are, I think, still more. We have a few more features we can add to this 8278 controller. Okay. So first we'll start with pin diagram. Just a minute. So always easy way to understand is we have to start with pin diagram. So it will be easy for you to first understand the points. Then we'll move on to architecture. Okay. So as you notice here also we have a what the 8279 is a 40-pin dual inline package, similar to your 8086. So 8086 Maria package, and we have 40-pin. Okay. So that is what is shown here. So we can just have a look what are the pins available. So we'll just rush up for pins which we know already. So because most of the pins we are familiar with, almost all those pins will be available in almost all the interface, right, from 8086. So few such pins are what DB0 to DB7. I think pin number 12 to 19. Pin number 12 to 19, DB0. So as the name indicates, DB means what? Data bus. Okay. So all will be bidirectional as okay previously, which means what? All the data and command between your CPU and the programmable keyboard interface of 8278 are transferred on these lines. Okay, that is the function of this data bus. Okay. So they point to, so you can write the same point for all the interfacing devices. And then moving on to clock. Where is the clock input? I think pin number 3. So as usual, a system clock is generally needed to generate what? Internal timing purpose. We need this clock. Okay. And reset. So followed by reset pin. So I think reset pin on pin number 9. So in between left is IRQ, PL, RL4, RL5. This I'll tell you later. So I'll start. First we are discussing pins on the left side. So clock we completed. Reset. So usually what will happen? So when you provide a high on this pin, obviously what it resets your 8278. Okay. So once 8278 has been reset, so what happens means it places the 8278 in the following modes. By default, it behaves in following modes. So as soon as you press the reset, your 8287 will enter into 16 8-bit character display, left entry mode, and encoded scan keyboard. There is 2 key lockout and program clock. No, it prescales to set to 31. Okay, I'll tell you what is this. So by default, when you reset, it will enter into this type of these modes. So output will be what? 16 8-bit character display left entry mode, and input will be keyboard mode will be what? Encoded scan keyboard, 2 key lockout and program lock prescaler mode. Okay, and then moving on to chip select. I think the same thing you can mention. So since it is CS bar, okay, CS bar pin number 22. So chip select. So whenever they low on this pin, what will happen? It enables the 8278 programmable keyboard interface to receive or transmit data. And then followed by AO. What is it? AO? A0. So not A0. So A0 stands for what? Address, buffer address. So whenever it is an active high signal, A0, pin number 21. So a high on this pin indicates that the signals in and out are interpreted as command or status word. Okay. A low indicates, suppose whenever this pin is set low, it indicates what? Data. So it's something buffer address pin. And read and write, pin number 10 and 11, read and write. So as usual, so whenever a read means what? Again, it's an active low signal. So it will be activated from microprocessor to what? 8278 to receive data from the external bus. That is the purpose of this pin. And moving to write pin. So whenever this pin is set high, again, sorry, low. Let me learn the active low signals now. So it enables the data buffers to send data to the what? External bus. That is a function of this write pin. And moving on to another important pin, IRQ. I think pin number 4, IRQ. So interrupt request. So interrupt request. So suppose in a keyboard mode, the interrupt highest line. So whenever you're going to make this interrupt highest line, so when there is a data in the FIFO or sensor RAM available, so this pin will be set. You should set this pin to high. So the interrupt high, it becomes low with each this what first in FIFO or sensor RAM read and returns high if there is still what information present in this RAM. Okay. In case of your sensor mode, the interrupt line goes high whenever there's a change in sensor has been detected. For this purpose, we use this pin IRQ. And then we have three. Okay, SL0 to SL3. So we have 4 lines, SL0 to SL3. Pin number 30, SL0 32 to 35. So these pins we have 4 lines. These lines only called as what? Scan lines. SL. Scan lines. So they are used to scan the key switch or the sensor matrix and display digits. For those purpose, we use this. So these lines can be either encoded from 1 to 16 or can be decoded from 1 of 4. Okay. So I'll tell you what is encoder 1 to 60 and decoder 1 of 4. Okay. Later in the architecture. Okay, and then moving on to return lines, RL. So I think we have 8 return lines, RL0 to RL7. So totally we have 8 return lines. So these are called return line inputs normally. Okay, and see, name itself indicates scan line, and these are what? Return lines. So return lines are actually they are input. Okay, so they are connected to scan lines through the key or sensor switches. So usually, they'll be having an active internal pull-ups to keep them high until the switch closures are pulled down. So for that purpose, we use this. Okay, and these switches, they usually connected between the scan lines and the return lines. So apart from this, the return lines also serve as an 8-bit input in case of your strobed input mode. So actually, these are different modes available. So once we see the architecture, we can able to clearly understand what are the modes available here and what is the function of each and every mode. And then moving on to shift. So we have another input called shift input, pin number 36. So the shift input, it's a status. It is stored along with your key position on the key closure in case of your scanned keyboard modes. Okay. So until a switch closure is pulled low, it has an active internal pull-up to keep it high. Okay. And then what are the pins still left? I think we control CNTL. Okay, CNTL bar STB. So it is nothing but control bar strobed input mode. Control bar strobed input mode. So in keyboard, suppose in keyboard modes, this line, this CNTL bar STB line, it is used as a control input, and you can store like a status on it key closure. So similarly, this line can also be used as a strobe line that enters the data into the first in first out register in case of a strobed input mode. Okay, for all this purpose, we use this input. And okay, and the last thing, something we have called BD, blank display, BD bar, blank display. Again, it's active low signal. So this output pin is used to blank the display during digit switching or by a blanking command. With the help of this, we can able to blank the display during any operation. And the last pins which are left are out A0 to A3 and out B0 to B3. So these are the output pins actually. We have 4 plus 4, 8 pins we have. Out A0 to A3 and what? Out B0 to B3. Okay. So what is the function? Say here out means A0, A3. Those pins, I think pin number 27, 26, 25, and then pin 31 to 28. So all these pins are what? Your output pins. So these are the output ports for your 16 cross 4 display registers. Okay. So the data from these outputs will be synchronized to your what? Scan lines for multiplexed digit displays. And okay, fine. We'll see later. Similarly, since we here we have what two ports, output ports. These two 4-bit ports you can combine and use it as what a single 8-bit port also. Okay, depends upon your application. Okay, and the diagram which is shown on the right side of this is nothing but a simple schematic diagram of your 8279 with its important pins. Okay, this is just a difference. So whatever is there in the pin diagram, here it is being represented. So now we'll move on to your architecture. That will be easy for you. And this is your architecture or basic block diagram of your 8279 keyboard display interface. Okay, just have a look at it. What are the blocks available in this? So that we'll start with display. And then a blocks first path, okay, because he'll be having lot of blocks. So I think most of the blocks, at least 50% of the blocks you are familiar with. Data buffers, okay, fine. IO control, I think it's quite you would have known. And then what else? Control and timing registers, internal bus fees, and all. I think it's familiar for you. Only thing is this FIFO sensor RAM, status RAM, and this FIFO sensor RAM 8x8, keyboard, deboards, and control, scan counter, return. I think these are something new here, which I added in this 8278. Okay, so we'll start with architecture of 8279. So if you see means 8279, no, as I said previously, okay, by any microprocessor based system and microprocessor designs, data input and display will be an integral part of this design. Okay, so whoever the system engineer who is going to develop any microprocessor design or application based application, he needs to what interface a device that can control these functions without placing a larger load on CPU. So for that purpose only we use this 8279 function for mainly for 8-bit process, okay, or to some extent to 16-bit process. So this 8279 it has two sections. So one is a keyboard section with a set of 4 scan lines available and 8 return lines. Okay, I repeat. 8279 has 2 sections. Okay, totally you can classify architecture into 2 sections. One will be for your input, other one will be keyboard, other one will be your output. So these are the 2 different sections available. Okay, so the first section is going to be a keyboard section with a set of 4 scan lines and 8 return lines. Okay, so I repeat, 4 scan lines followed by what 8 return lines. And the second section is a display section. Here we'll be having a set of 8 output lines for interfacing. So display section has a set of 8 output lines only for interfacing. Okay, so this is a block diagram of your 8279. So we'll see the function description of major blocks of 8279 keyboard display interface. So first I'll start with what? IO control. Okay. So what is the function of IO control? See, whatever may be the answer, you can just post your answers. What would be the function of IO control? It will be in general. So either you can unmute yourself and answer, or you can just post your answers in chat box. So what could be the function of IO control? Normal IO control என்னென்ன வேலை பார்க்கும் அது மட்டும் சொன்னா போதும். IO control. No idea? Interaction between the device and control units. Okay, fine, very good. So can issues. So normally this IO control, no, it uses what, or it have it controls the signals like your chip select, W read, write, and A0 lines to control. Because with the help of these signals, only you can able to control the data flow to and from the various internal registers as well as what buffers. So as well as all the data flow to and from this 8279 is enabled by CS bar. So these are the main two functions of your what 8279. Okay. And then we'll move on to what. And what else points you can just mention? So when CS bar is equal to 0, what happens? Your 8279 programmable keyboard interface can be enabled. Otherwise, the 8279 signals are in high impedance state, which means when the CS bar is equal to 1. Okay, so as apart from this, no, the 8278 interprets the data given or desired by the CPU, with the help of this A0 and our read and write signals. So we have a Tableau column here. Just I'll share you it. Just a minute. It's not on. Sorry, I think it's the Tableau column. I'll just explain. It's not available, I guess. So when A0 logic is 0, so what happens? I think when discussing about a pin diagram, we explained. So whenever A0 is logic is 0, is logic 0, so data will be transferred. And A0 is 1, logic 1, command word or status word is transferred. Okay. And this read and write signals, they are used to determine the direction of data flow with the help of what? Data buffers. Okay, so this is the points you can just write with the help of, you can perform with the help of IO control. So moving on to data buffers, which is on the right side of, so left side of your IO control. So data buffers, failure arrow mark pathway, so it is something interlating internal 8-bit data bus to your what? Internal data bus to your what? CPU. So the data buffers, now again, it is an 8-bit bidirectional buffers that connect the internal data bus to the external data bus. For that purpose, we use this data buffers. Okay. And then see, depending on the signals, okay, as I said, no, these control signals. Suppose I'll ask you a question. When A0, again I repeat, if A0 is going to be 0, logic 0, data is what? Transferred. And if A0 is going to be logic 1, command word or status word is transferred. Okay. So remembering this in mind. So now I'll just give a condition. When A0 is equal to 0, RD bar is going to be 1 and WR bar is going to be 0. So what operation does 8279 performs? Again, I'll repeat. A0 is going to be 0. Okay, A0 signal, I'm going to take it as what? 0. And then read bar is going to be 1 and write bar is going to be 0. So when that is the case, what operation is going your 827 will perform, or is each processor will perform? See, first thing is A0 is 0. So whenever A0 is 0, obviously what? It's going to be data. Okay. And second is read signal is going to be high and write signal is going to be low. So see, both are active low signals, which means you need to give a low signal to perform. So which means here it is going to perform write operation. So write means from CPU to 8278. So when these signals, if I give a condition, if I set the status for these signals like this, so obviously what your CPU performs or processor will perform what? Data from CPU to 8279. So this write operation will be takes place. So if so when A0 is going to be 0, A0 value is going to remain the same. Now read is going to be 0 and write bar is going to be 1. So probably reverse. Read 0, write 1. So data is sent to CPU from 8278. So this operation takes place. And other two cases, when A0 is going to be 1 and read is going to be 1 and write is going to be 0. See, whenever A0 1 வந்துட்டால் என்ன சொன்னாங்க வந்து it's going to be command word or status word. இது ரெண்டுத்துல ஏதாச்சும் வந்தா it's not going to be data. Okay. இப்போ read ன்னு சொல்றாங்க. So read என்னது பண்ணாங்க? So whenever it's going to be read means what is going to be a command word from CPU to 8279. Okay. And other case when A0 is going to be 1, but read signal is going to be 0 and write is going to be 1 means, sorry, it is going to be a status word to CPU from where 8278. So these are the possible combinations with the help of these signals you can able to control what various operations. Okay, and moving on to control and timing registers. So control and timing registers. So what could be the function of these control and timing registers? Yes, idea ka? Failure control and timing registers, which means so these registers they used to store the different keyboard and display modes and other what conditions which are programmed by CPU. So various modes we have, those modes you can able to select with the help of these control registers and timing registers. So controller register CWR. So I think with the help of this CWR I can able to what store the keyboard modes available, also as well as what in addition not only keyboard modes, also your display modes. So the modes are usually they're programmed by sending a proper what command on the data lines whenever A0 is set to 1. So the command it will be usually latched on the rising edge of write signal. So and the command it is then decoder on the what appropriate mode, and the function will be what set. So all these functions takes place inside this control and the timing registers. Apart from this, we also have what clock and reset signals given to this block. Okay, you can just notice the block diagram. And then we have something called timing control below it, timing and control unit. So shortly called as timing control. So the timing control unit it basically consists of what basic timer counter chain. So the counter it is usually divided by n prescaler, and that can be programmed to give an internal frequency of around 100 kilohertz. So the prescaler it can take a value, any value between from 2 to 31. So the number so we can adjust. So idellame or block, okay va. And see all this whatever we have discussed so far, okay, this all comes under what your CPU interface and control system. So whatever block that we discussed so all these blocks it comes under what CPU interface and control section. And moving on to your second section that you call it as scan section. So this is something important, scan section. So in scan section usually we'll be having a scan counter. I think you can note it at the bottom of your block diagram. We have scan counter. So this scan counter it works in two different modes. One you call it as encoder mode, other one called as decoder mode. Okay, I repeat, the scan section has a scan counter, so which operates in what two different modes, encoder mode and decoder mode. So we'll see what is maybe encoder mode first. So in case of your encoder mode, the scan counter it provides a binary count from 0000 to 1111. So since it is so why we am taking it 4 bits means we have what 4 scan lines, SC3 to SC0. So all these are active high outputs. So since we have 4 lines, so I mean obviously in the scan counter it counts a binary count ranging from 000 to what 1111. So 1111. So which means in decimal from 0 to 50. Okay. So the binary count it must be externally decoded to provide 16 scan lines. And display can use all these 16 scan lines to interface what 16-digit 7-bit display, but keyboard can use only what 8 lines after the 16 lines. And in case of your decoded mode, so if you go for decoder mode, so if you see means the internal decoder it decodes the least significant bits, 2 bits of your binary count, and provides what 4 possible combinations on the scan lines SC3 to SC0. So in such case what could be the values 1110, 1101, 1011, so 0111. So which means these combinations. So the output of the decoder scan will be what active. Normally it is active low. Okay. So these 4 active low inputs can be used either directly. You can use it to interface a 4-bit 7-segment display, or you can use it to interface what 8x4 matrix keyboard. So like this. So in this case, we no need of what the external decoder to be used in the scan counter. Okay, because itself, by itself, it itself take care of it. And moving on to third section is a keyboard section. So again, in keyboard section, we have some quite large blocks available. So this section usually consists of return buffers. Okay, return buffers. We have keyboard, debones, and control block. We have FIFO or sensor RAM and FIFO or sensor RAM status. All these blocks comes under your keyboard section. So usually, these functions depends upon the selected particular type of keyboard mode. So out of the 3 keyboard modes available. So totally we have 3 different keyboard input modes. So one you call it a scanned keyboard mode. Other one is a sensor matrix mode. Other third one is going to be your strobed input mode. So all these different types of modes available. So we'll see how to select these modes with the help of a control word register later. Okay. So first we'll start with return buffers. So how many return buffers are there? I think I said 8. So here also we have 8 return lines, RL0 to RL7. So all these are buffered and they are latched by the return buffers when each row is being scanned for keyboard or sensor matrix mode. So in case of your strobed mode, the contents of these return lines, they usually be transferred to your first in first out RAM. In case of your strobed input mode, okay. So only at the rising edge of your the control bar strobe lines. In case of your keyboard, debones, and control mode, okay. So normally this keyboard and keyboard and debones and control mode, it will be you can enable it only when a scanned keyboard mode is selected. So only for that particular mode this can be enabled. So in the scanned keyboard mode, so the return lines usually will be scanned. So they'll check for any key closures in a particular row. Suppose if the circuit debones detects a closure switch, then normally it waits about 10 milliseconds to check if the switch remains closed or not. If it does, so the address of the switch in the matrix plus your status of the shift and control signals will be transferred to your that FIFO RAM. Okay, and FIFO, as the name indicates, FIFO by sensor RAM, it performs it is like it is something similar to your dual function of your 8x8 RAM. So in case of a scanned keyboard and strobed input modes, it acts like a FIFO. So each new entry, it is going to be written to successive RAM positions. It will be usually read in the order of the entry. Because it is in FIFO, it will be read in the order of the entry. So whereas in case of your sensor matrix mode, the memory will be usually referred to as sensor RAM in that case. So each row of the sensor RAM, it will be loaded with the status of the corresponding row of the sensor in a given matrix. And last user FIFO bar sensor RAM status. So as the name indicates, this is a status register. So it keeps track of the number of characters that are available in FIFO, and it also keeps track whether the FIFO is full or empty. And then apart from this, we have a status logic here. So it also makes this IRQ signal high whenever the FIFO is not empty. So it can be used to interrupt your CPU, telling that the key press has been detected and the key will be available in FIFO RAM. Okay. And last section is going to be your display section. So this is very easy for you. So display, as the name indicates, in display section we have 3 blocks again. I think all the blocks are available on the bottom, below this internal data bus line. Okay, below the internal data on the left side, all the 3 blocks. So we have a display RAM, we have a display address registers, and we have display registers. Totally 3 blocks. In case of your display RAM, here we are going to use an 16x8 RAM. So which actually this RAM stores the display codes for the 16 digits, and it can be accessed directly with the help of CPU. So in case of your decoder mode, this 8278 uses only first 4 locations of the display RAM. Whereas in case of your encoder mode, it uses first 8 locations for 8-bit display and all the 16 locations for 16-digit displays. Okay, I know it's quite difficult for you to remember, but just go through the architecture once. Okay, so you need to remember all these points, how it functions, or what is the function of each and every block of each and every unit. And then moving to display address registers. So display address register is clearly a display address register, which means it is used to hold the address of the byte currently being written or read from the CPU, and is also to scan the count value. So similarly, the read write register addresses, they are programmed by the CPU command normally. So if it is set, so in an auto increment mode, so address in this display address register will be incremented for each write and write operations. So that is a function of this DAR, display address registers. And last one is going to be a display registers. So display registers, here we have two display registers and diagram out A, B. So here we have two registers, out A0 to A3 and out B0 to B3. So as the name indicates, both are going to be what 4-bit, two 4-bit registers. So they hold the bit pattern of the character to be displayed normally. So the contents of the display registers A and B can be either blanked with the help of blanking the BD signal. We have something called BD signal. So with the help of this, I can able to set different modes. Okay. So just a minute. See, actually with this, your pin diagram and architecture of 8279 is over. And we have something called modes of operation of 8278. So we have two input modes, output modes. This I'm going to, I'll take you later. No, it's not.